Hello, and welcome back to my channel Borisnomics. We are in lockdown, so I'm in my room this time. Since my first video on interest rates, I've been overwhelmed by your feedback, so a huge thank you to all of you, and sit tight for more. Last time we talked about interest rates, which influence money supply. Cheaper to borrow, banks lend more loans, more money is created. That's all part of monetary policy. It's a powerful tool to mitigate in an economic emergency such as now. But this video is about fiscal stimulus and fiscal policy, which is the use of government's revenue like taxes and duties. I'll talk about the rationale for implementing these fiscal packages, the impacts they will have, and how we'll pay for them. So, let's go!
In this graph, I've selected some major economies. The US is spending the most, followed by Europe's biggest economy, Germany. It is hard to know for sure how much these packages will add up to because, for instance, the UK has pledged to pay 80% of employees' wages or average profit for the last 3 years if you're self-employed, up to £2,500. Of course, you still have to pay taxes and national insurance on it depending on your earnings throughout the tax year, but we just don't know how many of these companies are furloughing staff or how many self-employed are needing this cash. But as a percentage of GDP, the US is actually not spending the most. Malaysia, Germany, and the UK are leading the league table here.
The US passed a $2 trillion package on the 27th of March. How much is $2 trillion? Well, that's more than what Italy or Brazil produced last year and the GDP of Indonesia and the Netherlands combined. Imagine handing this amount of money to people without them producing a thing. It's a huge deal. These packages broadly come as 1. Loans, reliefs, deferring or forgiving taxes. 2. Grants, salary straight into your account. Thanks. Okay, why are governments the world over doing this? To answer that, let's wind back to 1929. Since the market crashed on Wall Street, panic was causing more panic, and world GDP dropped by 15%, as opposed to 1% in 2009. In 1929, Adam Smith and the classical economics that he represents were mainstream in the West, that if you let the economy run its course, it will come back like it always has. Demand will meet supply at equilibrium. But if you were to live through the 30s, it probably wouldn't feel that way. And this is where John Maynard Keynes and Keynesian economics come in. He famously said, "In the long run, we are all dead." Forget Adam Smith, forget self-restoration of market equilibrium. Governments need to spend money now, build roads, hire people. When people spend the money that they get, it creates more jobs. That's how governments multiply the money spent to create economic activity. That's the multiplier effect. Over time, governments also leverage taxation as a tool to balance good times and bad. But the fiscal packages announced in March 20 have gone beyond what has been done before, and it could be a new strand of economic debates going forward. Loans and tax breaks have been done time and again. Governments do them because they understand the disruption and damages all these bankruptcies would do. But before the COVID-19 outbreak, they have only persuaded companies to keep staff. And even state help came with great reluctance because it could be seen as favoritism, and it makes others think it's okay to go under and help will come. This excessive risk-taking is called moral hazard in economics. But by supporting employees and the self-employed the way the UK has announced to do, it doesn't just help companies smooth over the recession, it helps also reduce the inevitable labour market friction that we will see when economic activity can resume. That's critically the difference between increasing unemployment benefits and companies keeping staff on payroll paid for by the government. Of course, though, there is the timing issue. Self-employed will only get their money in 3 months, and companies will only get reimbursed after paying staff. How does paying wages help? Well, 1, if people are laid off, they have to look for another job. Looking for jobs, applying, interviews, background checks. What's more, maybe you get multiple offers and want to negotiate between firms, and for the companies that are hiring, they may not get everyone they want. And all this is loss of economic activity. On average, it takes 6 weeks for someone to start a new job. And two, perhaps more importantly, unemployment benefits are nowhere as near as wages. By paying 80% of up to median wage, people still are able to pay rent, mortgage, buy pasta, toilet rolls. That pretty much covers everything you spent in March if you could buy them. Rent and mortgage are an essential part of our financial system. Banks earn these repayments to pay our interest on savings. Subsidizing wages, therefore, helps reduce the chaotic surge in the labour market before it can go full steam again, and helps stabilize the financial system from the knock-on effect of people not being able to pay their bills. But of course, there's no free lunch. These ideas all originate from the Keynesian approach to spend public money in a recession. This is something the world had no idea of doing during the Great Depression, and hence we have a much better chance of coming out of COVID-19 without a lost decade. But this is going to be very expensive. The UK already has a $2.2 trillion debt, and the current total package of $500 billion will make its debt position jump by almost a quarter. The US already has about $22 trillion of debt, so just the current US package will bump up its debt position by almost 10%. But then here's the beauty of all these. How do you finance it? You pay interest on it, but interest rates are almost nothing these days. And check out my other video, How Low Can You Go? Even before the outbreak, it's already good to borrow and fund infrastructure projects. Now with COVID-19, it's just easy to throw money. Is fiscal stimulus helping? Let's do a summary here. Absolutely. The world is now much better equipped with economic tools to deal with crises, and technology is making these tools possible. Can you imagine how long it would take to send everyone in the country a paycheck back in 1929? Fiscal packages are expensive, but now is also the best time to do it given the lowest interest rate we have seen in history. Thank you so much for your comment. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel Borisnomics, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!